Okay, I hope my screen is or the PPTs are visible to everyone. Okay, thank you for joining today's webinar, and again, welcome back to our Wednesday weekly webinar. So today, the topic that we have is manage access control of records in Kylas CRM. So this is one of the base pillar, or I can say one of the very important feature that every admin of the tenant needs to pay attention when they are onboarding a new user, and when it comes to giving some sort of permissions of the application so that they can duly perform their activities with the help of application. Okay, so what we would be covering today, these are the three main points that we would be covering, starting with how to manage your users in Kylas. So we would be looking at how a user gets added, how a profile is assigned to that user so that he can perform certain activities. Then second, we have how to manage users with different profile permission and entities. So since in the CRM, we deal with a lot of entities such as lead, deal, contact, companies. So we can give certain permissions to users so that they can access only the limited information, or to extend whatever information they should be knowing based on their roles. And the last one is how you can manage user access and activities using profile permission. So like in the CRM industry that you have seen that the user can perform a lot of activities such as calling, sending WhatsApp, SMS, or messages, emails, meetings, such things. So how that can be controlled, that we will be seeing in today's webinar. Okay. So to look at it, I will be sharing my screen so that we can see it in the application itself. Okay, so right now I have shared my screen, and I hope the screen is visible to you and you are seeing the Kylas CRM dashboard. Okay. So when you log in as an admin or the tenant user, this would be the first view that you will be seeing. Now, since managing your users and their permissions is one of the critical part and falls under the setting. So now to access the setting, we would be going to the bottom of left hand side. Here we would be seeing CRM settings section. And then under here, we have user management section, which when we expand, you will see there are multiple sub menus which are totally related to user teams or the profile permission and data sharing, which can also be accessed from the screen itself. Here you can see user management, and all these four submenus are listed into horizontal view. Okay, so first let me show you how a user gets added. So we will be putting up a salutation. So with the asterisk in red color, these are the mandatory field. So you can put the first name, last name, the email address, phone number, designation, department, currency, and profile. These are the some of the mandatory field. Along with we have time zone, date, format, and preferred language. Okay, so once we add a user, and verification email will be sent to the email address that we will be adding up here. Now under this, you will see we have a profile field over here. And if I hover my mouse to the info icon, you will see user profile defines the set of permission this user will have on the Kylas CRM. So with this info tool, you will get an idea as to what exactly gonna happen in this field, or how this field is useful for the adding a new user. So when I click over here, you will see it is a drop down showing me multiple values. So these are nothing but a profile with a set of permissions which will allow this newly added user to use the system in a certain way. Okay, now how this profile is created, let's look at it as well. So on the third submenu, that is profile permission, here you will see all the profiles that are created, either this system or even custom. So by default, we are supporting two types of profile permission. One is admin and second one is restricted user. And on the third column, you will see the type of this profile permission, whether it's a system or a custom, meaning created by one of the tenant or admin user. So when I click on this admin, you will see there are a lot of toggles turned into blue color, which means they are on. So in the admin profile, we have given such permission that most of the activities can be performed by the admin. So when you log in to your system and you onboarded a new user, you can give a certain profile permission so that they can perform or kickstart with their activities by going through the application or having a walkthrough. On the other hand, we also have another group, that is restricted user. Here we have given certain permission, but not to an extent where most of the information can be accessed by the user. And also I have created this two more profile. One is sales and finance only. So since we are in an organization where we segregate the role and responsibilities into teams, we definitely want that certain people should be performing certain action and should not be accessing other information which is confidential or even not useful for them. Okay, so since you can see over here, I have created two groups, that is sales and finance. So I can bifurcate what kind of access this salesperson needs, and I can allow only those permissions to them. Okay, now how this is created is I can go and click on add button. I will give a name to this profile, let's say marketing, and give a description. Marketing people and product access, that is sales. So when I click on this burger icon, you can see the Kylas sales and another is marketplace. So here I'm giving the sales access as of now, and you will see all of the toggles are off here. So as soon as I turn this toggle on, I will see the access permission or the module and object permission. Now on the heading, you will see that these access are divided into three main categories. First, that is the basic access, which includes record permissions such as read, update, delete, and create, which is applicable for the owner's own record, meaning a record whose owner is the person. Then we have administrative access, which includes read all, update all, and delete all. So which means the admin person can access all the information or update all the information or even delete all the information specific to the entities. Then we have a third category, that is special access. Here we have listed some of the most productive entities or sub entities that are adding some notes or tasks, meeting, email, calls, message, quotation, and document as well. Okay. Then on this vertical side, you will see the names or we have segregated this information based on the model, such as we have automation, then communication, which will show the submenus such as call, email, email templates, or the message. Accordingly, we have also listed our main entities. So when I say main entities, so these are the lead, deal, contact, companies, quotations, such as. So you can see we also have the contact, then deal, we have lead, order management, such as. So you can also give certain permissions. So for example, there is a one user and I want this particular user to be totally dedicated on the lead data only. So the person can access only lead related information. Let me show you one example of it. So this is the sales profile and this includes one of my user. So let me show you this particular user. So I have this Siddhant Kharat, which is one of my user, and this falls under the sales profile. Okay. Now I'm going to sales profile. Let me turn off the most of the access that I have given over here, and we will see. Okay. I'm gonna turn off the administrative access as well over here so that we can see how a basic access will look like. And with the help of this, we can actually compare how a read and read only access will help the user to understand the system. So let me log off from the other. Login. Okay. So this is the email ID that I have used. So Siddhant Kharat, this has arjun.kharat@kailas.io. So this is the email address that I have used. So let me log into this one. And let's see the profile name. Okay, it's for Siddhant Kharat. Okay. So as soon as I logged in, I can see that this particular user is only having access to leads only. So I'm not seeing the other entities such as the deal, contact, company. Okay. Now, if we pay little attention over here, so what I have done is under the productivity management section, I have given some other access, which are notes, tasks, and document. So for the document, I have given access for the read and create, which means this particular user can read the documents that are uploaded as well as he can also upload the document into it. Okay. Now let's go over here and see one of the lead. So when I go into detailed page of a lead, I'm seeing only the lead related information, but not the productivity section. How? Okay, let's look at that. So on this column or the vertical axis, we have productivity section where we can actually give certain permission to the productive activities that a user can perform, such as meeting, adding notes, or creating tasks for a lead. Now, under special access, we also have listed this activity as well, which are productivity activities. Now, how these are different from what we are seeing in productivity is the toggles that are available on each of this row. So under notes, I can give access for the company entity, which means that the user can add a note on the company entity. So let's give this user permission on the notes. Then we will also give permission for tasks and also for document. Okay, now let's save these changes and we'll go back to our user. So let me log off and log in again since we have made changes into profile itself. Okay, now when I go to a leads and detail page, you will notice that on the right hand side where this whole detail page was expanded to the full length of the screen, now it has been reduced and I'm able to see the productivity section. So on the right hand side that you are seeing is actually a productivity section. So here I can see that the tasks that are added over here can be seen, but I'm not seeing a add button over here. Why? Let's look at that as well. So under productivity section, if you notice, we have turned on the toggle for read section only, but not for the create. Hence, resulting it that the user is not able to add either a note or even a task. But if you see over here, this user have upload button for the document. How? Because for the document section, this user has already given the create access. So here we can actually understand how this read, create or delete, these are differentiating how a user can perform certain activities. So let me give the create access for notes and tasks both. Let's save and go back to our user. Let's log off and log in again. Okay, now I'm going back to a particular lead and notes. So you can notice over here the add button is started appearing and I can start adding notes on this particular lead, such as lead has been given a call and shown interest in the product, also asked to schedule a meeting with them on meeting by tomorrow. Okay, so I have added note. Now I can create a task as well with this lead. I'm gonna do choose time, then I'm gonna give priority, set the due date for this particular task, then reminder the time before it should send me a notification. I can also assign to a different user as well. Okay, so since you can see that I have added note for a meeting, but since I do not have permission, how the meeting can be scheduled over here? That is the question we would raise here. So simply what we can do is let's go to communication module. Okay, my apologies. Let me see. Okay, so it falls under the productivity section. Now, if we go our spatial access, you will see the meeting is also listed over here and the toggle for the lead entity is turned off. So let me grant this permission to this user so that he can set up a meeting with the lead and proceed with the further communication to actually engage this lead into our product. Now, if you can see, the meeting menu has been appearing here I can add a meeting with this particular lead. So this is how a user's access can be managed within the Kylas CRM. Okay. Now, one important thing that we need to pay attention here is between this basic access and administrative access. Okay, so since this user is only given basic access, now if I go and give administrative access, which is read all. Okay, so when I go over here and on the third column, that is owner, so I'm seeing that all the leads that are listed here is showing owner as Siddhant Khara, which means this particular user is only able to view his own records, but not all the records that are available in the system. So now let's go and update the access to give read all permission and save. So let's go back again to this user, that is Siddhant, and log in again. Okay. Now, when I log in and go to lead listing page, you will notice that under the owner column, it is also start showing another name, that is Arjun Kharat. So now this particular user is able to view records of other owners as well. So with the help of read all access, the user can view all the information specific to lead entity that are available in this system, which is also applicable for deal, contact, and companies. So to give you a very short statement when it comes to difference between the read and read all is that with the read permission, the user can view the records which or whose owner is the actual user, meaning the Siddhant Kharat is the one person who has created the leads in the system, and he would be able to see only his records. Now, when we allow this read all permission to this user, then he would be able to view not only his records, but also other owners' record as well, or other users' record as well. So this is how the read and read all permission will differentiate and would help you all in terms of giving certain permissions to your user. To give you one very good example over here is that I recently interacted with one of our client, and in that call, their higher management was involved and they were not interested into update or creating the records or anything. What they were interested is they just want to view the information but not to act on anything, even if by mistake as well. So what I have suggested is we can give only the read all permission which allow this management user to read the information that is available in the system regardless of owner, but they won't be able to perform anything in the system. So how? Let me show you one example of it. Okay, so here we have owner with different names. One is Siddhant Khara and the other is Arjun Khara. So when I click on this Siddhant Khara, I can see this edit icon as well. With the help of it, I can actually make changes to this record app and update it. Now let's go back and see another user's record, which is Arjun Khara. So if you notice here, I'm not seeing the edit icon, which means I'm not able to make any changes to this lead. So let me show you another one here as well. So I'm not seeing any edit button over here. Let me open up a duplicate tab and show you one example whose owner is Siddhant itself. So if you compare both of these leads, we will notice that this edit icon disappears for the record whose owner is different user than the actual one who created it. Okay. Now let me show you one example over here. So since this user Arjun Kharat is owner of this record, that is real to steal, and this is the login of Siddhant Kharat. Now he does not have a edit permission over here. Now with the help of data sharing, we can actually share our own record with another user and give them certain permission so that they can act on those records in your absence. So in short, we can say when a person is out of office, you share the role or responsibilities for that particular period with the another user. Something similar we can also do here. To share with Siddhant. So I'm selecting user, that is record owner, that is Arjun Kharat. Now I'm sharing it with a user, that is Siddhant Kharat. Let me select entity, that is lead. Okay. Now here we have real to steal. So let me real to steal. So this is the lead that I have selected, and I'm gonna give the permission for update, notes, and task, and save. Okay, so as soon as I save, you will see a toaster message that is share rule created. Let's go back to Siddhant's login. Let me refresh this one. Okay, so as soon as I refresh, you will notice that the edit icon is appearing here, and by clicking on it, the edit page is now started opening up. Okay, so if you pay a little bit attention to the owner field, it is still showing as Arjun Kharat, but still the other user, which is Siddhant, is able to edit or make changes to the record. How it was possible is with the data sharing rule. So this is how, when a user is in this system and another user needs to share their role responsibilities for certain entities information, that is lead, deal, contact, company, that can be done with the help of data sharing, along with giving them certain permission on which they can act on, which includes the basic information and spatial access. Okay. So now we have seen how to manage users in Kylas based on the permission. Also, we have seen how the users are managed with different profile permission as well as entities. And we have also seen the difference between read and read all. So something similar which is also applicable for update and update all. So here the user would be able to update his own records, but when it comes to administrative access with update all, then the user would be able to update all the records that are available in the system. Similar to that, we have deal and deal all behavior applicable to that as well. So delete will be work where for the records of our own ownership, and delete all will be applicable regardless of owner in the system. Okay. Now, we have also seen how this spatial access is worked when it comes to this vertical axis and along with the row wise. So let's see one more example here. Okay, so here on the communication management, we have call, email template, and message. So here, some of the basic access on which we will see NA. That means it is not applicable when it comes to read, update, or create. So on call, you will be seeing that the basic access, that is read, update, or create, are not applicable. But under spatial access, we have a separate column for the call. And let's go to our lead management and turn it on for the call section. Now, what I'm gonna do is also along with lead, I'm gonna give additional access of deal as well for the read and create. So when I try to turn on one toggle, you will see a small pop-up will appear here, which is going to give a very good amount of information to you as to how this system reacts or how the dependent access works. So when I turn on the deals read only access, I'm seeing a note is started appearing, which actually reads that when I'm giving a read access for the deal entity, along with this, the user will also get read all access for the company, since we deal with either B2C or B2B. So you can see under on the very last column that for the contact entity as well, it is gonna give read permission. So when we are trying to create a deal, definitely we need a person with whom we would be negotiating or talking with them via call, WhatsApp, or even on email. So that becomes dependent for deal to have contact permission. Okay, so now I have enabled. Let me save this and let's go back to our user. So let me turn it off and re-log in again. So the reason I'm logging off and logging again is because I want to actually see how this systems is checked. So this is also one good point that you can keep as a reference whenever you are making any changes to any user profile. The preferable thing that would be is logging off and re-logging again so that he can actually see the changes very freshly. Okay, now if you notice over here, now additional menus started appearing on left hand side column, that is for deal, contact, companies, and the other sub entities, that is task, meeting, and reports, which are already there, but the very recent are deal, contact, and companies. Earlier it was not available, and based on this permission it has started showing up. Okay, now let's go to this particular user. Okay, you will see under this spatial access permission, we have granted the permission for the call. Now the user can also log calls on this particular lead, and also they should be able to call from Kylas CRM if they have installed the marketplace application, which is click to call. So we do also have integrated with multiple IVR providers in order to call on different leads or the contact we have in the system. Okay. Now with the profile permission, we have understood how a user will see different kinds of menu on their login and how the interaction will happen between the user and system based on the permissions. Okay. Now we would be seeing some of the important access permission that would be useful to the user, that are configuration, second is integration, and third one is workflow, which are some of the admin permission, because these are the very critical or important features that a user should have access to. Okay. Starting with, we have automation. So under workflow, you might have seen our previous webinar where we can, with the help of workflow, we can actually automate lot of things in this system based on how data is created and when a data is updated. Based on this two event, there can be a lot of things that can be done with the help of workflow, such as reassigning the leads to someone, creating webhook or sending email, creating tasks, and many more. So even for this as well, we can give permission to an user to create the workflow and start automating the work within the CRM application. So let's go to Siddhant again, the user. And here, if you see, we are not seeing the automation submenu, but on this side, on page, you will see that the automation menu is appearing over here. So what I'm gonna do is create permission, and along with this, you will see that a pop-up of note has been appeared over here, which gonna give read all permission for the workflow and save. So let's go back over here. Let me try to refresh. Okay. I think we need to log in again. Okay. Now I have logged in and I'm seeing automation as a menu under here, along with workflow as well, where I can actually see add workflow button. So this is one of the important feature that workflow have. With the help of it, lot of things can be automated. Then also under configuration, we have multiple things such as configuration, conversion mapping, then we have custom field. So a user, if he wants to add any custom field, then that can be also done with the permission of custom field. Then data sharing. If I go back over here and under the user management, if you see, I'm not seeing the profile or the sub menu of data sharing. So if I give read and create permission and save, let's go back here and log in again. Let's go to CRM setting and user management. So I can see now data sharing is also available there, and Siddhant can now share his records with another team member. So similar to that, we also have other options under the configuration, that is for the pipeline. So the user can create pipeline or create additional pipelines to in this system, or they can also have access to read all or the update all. But here we have restricted the delete all permission, since pipeline is one of the important thing which actually decides at what stage your lead or deals are standing. So hence we have restricted the delete all access when it comes to some of the sensitive information that is in the system or the feature. Also along with this, we have product and services. So the user can add additional product, or they can read all the product. Then we have profile and then smart list. Then the let's go to integration. So integration, by the word itself, we will understand this is something where two systems are interacting to each other. Under this, we have lead capture form. So here a user can create a lead capturing form and it can be published to the different forum that you are using when it comes to capturing the leads from different sources such as Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Google Ads, and many more, or even if it's your own website. Also, we have Webhook. So Webhook, you might be aware or have seen our previous videos where we have given a webinar on the Webhook, how actually it works. So with the help of Webhook, we can actually send some information from our system to another system based on the events such as create, update, or delete. So to give you an example, you have already integrated with IndiaMart, okay? And when there is a new lead created in Kylas CRM, then with the help of Webhook event for lead entity and for the create event, the information can be sent from Kylas CRM to the IndiaMart. Okay, so I think we have covered pretty much of about the permission. Okay, now let's look at what we have seen today. Okay, so what we have seen today is how we can manage our user in the Kylas. Also, we have seen how the profile permission will help the user to access the certain information available in this system that is related to deal or contact, company, or even leads. Then we have also seen how we can manage our user and what activities they should be performing with the help of Kylas CRM, such as adding notes, creating tasks for them, or calling up to the user and creating meeting, or even sending emails to our leads. So now I think with the help of this webinar, the users of Kylas CRM would be pretty much helpful with how the user is acting, or how he is interacting with this system, and when the user is facing issue when it comes to accessing certain feature or menu or even entity, the very first thing that we need to pay attention is the user's profile and what are the restrictions that are put on the user which is not allowing to act on to access the system. Stay tuned with us for the upcoming features that we will be releasing also, and stay connected. Thank you.